The Lantern Festival in the King's Garden, a bedtime story inspired by chapter 21, Gospel of Matthew. Long ago, in a sun-kissed kingdom nestled between sapphire mountains and shimmering streams, there was a grand garden filled with every kind of flower. Lilies that glowed like tiny moons, tulips soft as whispers, and roses so fragrant that even the night breezes carried their perfume far across the land. In the heart of this kingdom stood a palace of golden stone, where the gentle King Eliam lived. He was beloved, not for his crown or riches, but for his heart, a heart so wide that he dreamed of sharing his joy with everyone. One evening, as twilight painted the sky in watercolor pinks and purples, King Eliam announced the Lantern Festival, the brightest and kindest celebration the land had ever seen. It was to be a time of laughter, music, gentle dancing, and tables piled high with fruit and honey cakes. Most special of all, it was a wedding feast for his only child, Princess Serial, a celebration of love that would light the world. The king sent messengers across valleys and villages, inviting every soul, great and small, to come and join the wonder. The invitations were rolled in golden paper and tied with silver threads, each carrying a wish. Come, for all is ready. But something strange happened. Some people were too busy to come. I must tend my field, said one. I have a shop to open, said another. Some barely glanced at the invitation before setting it aside. The king's messengers returned, their lanterns dim. When the king heard, his heart ached, not with anger, but with longing. Go again, he said. Invite everyone you find. Wanderers, storytellers, old friends, and new. The feast is for all. So, the messengers went into the winding streets and soft meadows. They invited children with dirt on their cheeks, bakers with flour in their hair, shepherds who sang to the stars, and travelers whose hearts longed for belonging. Everyone was welcome. Every age, every color, every story. That night, the garden glowed. Lanterns hung from every tree and sparkled like stars fallen to earth. Laughter mingled with the soft music of harp and flute. Even the moon seemed to pause and smile. As the feast began, the king noticed a guest sitting quietly at the edge of the crowd. He wore the same clothes he'd worn from the road, simple, dusty, and tired. King Eliam knelt beside him and gently asked, Friend, you are welcome here, but would you like to wear a festival robe, woven with colors of the dawn? The man's eyes filled with wonder. He smiled, and soon he was dancing with the others, wrapped in the king's gift. Throughout the night, the king strolled among his guests, not above them, but among them, blessing each one with a word, a smile, or a listening ear. Some guests asked wise questions. What does it mean to belong? The king answered, You belong because you are loved, not for what you do or bring, but simply because you are. Others whispered, What is the greatest thing in your kingdom, O king? He answered softly, To love with all your heart, and to show kindness as bright as lantern light. to yourself, to your neighbor, to the world. As the night deepened and the festival lanterns burned low, the garden was quiet, wrapped in golden dreams. The king gazed up at the stars with joy, knowing his love had reached every corner of his kingdom. He saw the sleepy children cuddled on soft blankets, the friends holding hands, and even the wanderers at peace. The next morning, the kingdom awoke to a gentle sunrise. The garden was still, save for the laughter of a few doves and the rustle of the festival robes that now belonged to all who came. People returned to their homes, carrying a spark of light and a story to tell of a king who opened his gates, a garden that welcomed all, and a love that made everyone feel at home. And from that night onward, whenever the lanterns were lit and the garden breeze rustled through the lilies, the people remembered the king's feast was never just for the chosen few, but for every open heart under heaven's wide embrace. Sleep peacefully, knowing you are always welcome in the garden of kindness, and that every day is an invitation to love and be loved.